to the decluttering series. Today we are talking about 10 travel related things that you can cut out of your life, because I don't know about you, but anything that would make travel easier. I'm all, you know, when you were a kid, going on holiday was great because you had none of the responsibility and all of the fun, but now there's the packing, there's the unpacking, there's the washing, there's like all the stuff that you have. Oh no, let's just get rid of all of that right now. Let's go. Hey, how's it going? It's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And first thing on this list, one of those things that you buy a new one but you keep the old one just in case. Suitcases, bags, packing cubes, all of the things that you would use to pack up your stuff and bring it with you. Like I said, these are the types of things that you generally buy a new one, or you have to buy a new size or something, but you keep the old ones around because you never know when you might need 6 suitcases to go traveling. I don't know why we do this to ourselves. They are big, they are bulky, and the chances of you actually needing all of those suitcases, like show of hands right now, how many of you actually use all of your suitcases and bags and like packing cubes and stuff? By a show of hands. See, yeah, nobody. We've all got at least one that just sits there, and they're so big and bulky, they take up so much space. And truthfully, if you were going somewhere and you realize that you did need an extra suitcase, chances are you can just borrow one. Like, let's be real here. You will have a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or somebody who has a spare suitcase that you can borrow for a week or two. Although, fun story, my mother once borrowed a bag from her sister to bring home, and at the airport they had sniffer dogs. One of the dogs like came over to the bag and seemed to be spending an inordinate amount of time there. My mother was like, "That's not my bag, I borrowed it." So anyway, it turned out fine. The dog moved on, but yeah, there was like a brief moment of pure panic, and I don't blame her. You know, when you like, the cops are just like driving by you or something, or there are sniffer dogs at the airport, am I the only one who like freezes up, even though I'm like the most innocent person in the world? Like, wouldn't say boo to a goose. But yeah, the fear that like gets struck into my heart, because suddenly I'm thinking, did I smuggle drugs into the country? Totally ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, this is a category where you can probably stand to lose an item or two, and it's going to save you a lot of space, and somebody else will be grateful for it. Like, if it's still in decent condition, donate it. But yeah, don't let the like drug sniffing story put you off borrowing one if you need it. Yeah, I messed that up really, didn't I? Let's just move on to the next one. Okay, you won't actually find any of this next one in my closet because nope, I don't go there. That is beach cover-ups. I'm talking sarongs, caftans, that sort of thing. I just wear my regular clothes to the beach because I hate water. I'm not getting in there. Same at the pool. Nope, just won't do it. Terrifying. I like, oh no, large bodies of water. Nope. But I realize I'm probably the exception to the rule. I'm sure most people have some form of beach wear. The thing is, they're generally really flimsy, like they're light material, they easily catch on things, they can be cheap, and they don't see the light of day all that often. They probably spend like 11 months of the year sitting in a suitcase or at the back of like a drawer or the back of your cupboard, closet, wherever you put it. It's probably musty, maybe even like moldy or mildewy, or it's got like a rip in it or something. So yeah, go through those types of things and see if you can whittle them down. Chances are you have one there that's seen better days. And then you can just become like me and have a very healthy respect for the sea and lakes and all those types of things, water, Mother Nature in general. No, I'm not messing with that. No. I do not like water, I do not like flying. Solid ground is where it's at for me. Okay, here's something I do have kind of a few of: hats and sunglasses. I have one hat because I found the hat for me, like the ultimate hat, one hat to rule them all. I used to go on holidays and I would buy a cheap hat while I was there just to keep the sun out of my face, and I never really liked them. I just bought them because they were cheap, and I was just like, yeah, I'll use this for this holiday. But then I found this hat. Look, it's got a bow in the back. Look. So cute. Anyway, this is now my hat, the only hat that I have, summer hat. Obviously, I'm not just like strolling the streets in this hat, but on holiday, on a nice sun holiday. I feel like sunglasses are another one of those things that you maybe go on holidays and you just buy a cheap pair because you need a pair, or you lose a pair, or you sit on a pair or whatever. Like sunglasses, they're like pens. Like as soon as you put them down, they're gone. I don't know what happens to them. They just disappear into the ether. But yeah, go through your sunglasses if there are any that you're not going to wear again, or they're scratched, or they're broken, or whatever. Same with your hats. Like if you're really not going to wear it again, you can get rid of it or just whittle down to your favorite one. Like this one. I mean, I know it looks ridiculous, but I love it. It's amazing. I have one. I bought one on honeymoon and it was kind of like this. Like I like a wide brim so that it like gives me coverage, but it was a really floppy one and it kept flopping down right here in my face. That was really annoying. So I got this one, still wide brim, still like, you know, keeps me covered, but a sturdy enough brim. And a nice little bow on the back, plus it's a colour that will go with pretty much any outfit. I'm babbling now, I just like the hat, okay? But yeah, because these are inexpensive and relatively easy to pick up, you generally amass a collection of them over the years, which you don't really need, so declutter. Okay, this next one, probably not as easy to declutter, but it will still potentially save you a lot of hassle. Trust me, I speak from very bitter experience, but that is your travel documents, passports, ID. Okay, so for me, I normally, when I travel, if I'm traveling with my daughter, just me and her, like if I'm going home to Ireland or something, because she has a different surname to me, I didn't take my husband's surname, I get stopped all of the time because I'm traveling with a child that I don't share a surname with. So I always have to bring her birth certificate and my marriage certificate. I didn't realize this until the first time I traveled with her and got stopped and questioned. So I've carried them with me ever since, but also like visa documentation and stuff. We had a lot of that when we first moved over. We have green cards now, so it's a little bit easier. But to give you an example of why this is a good category to go through, even if you don't necessarily get rid of anything, last year we were traveling and we realized the day before we were due to leave that my daughter's passport had actually expired. Now thankfully we were only traveling domestically, so she was able to travel on her green card, but that could have been an issue. Of course, there was also that time my daughter, when she was younger, she decided that she wanted a different name. She wanted to be called by a different name. So I was traveling through the airport with her once, and you know, we were going through customs and all of that, immigration. The person, like the security guard person, says her name to her, like checks her passport, says her name, and she's like, "That's not my name." Oh, it was terrible. And then I had to be like, no, that is your name. She's like, no, my name is this other name. I'm like, no, she's just a kid. Ignore her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. This is her given name. But yeah, that could have caused massive problems. The trouble that child has caused me traveling around. Also a handy idea if you do have to travel with documents, to get some sort of like little plastic folder or something like this. Keep everything all together. Again, it just makes the process easier. You can grab and go. Learn from my mistakes. Although yeah, I can't help you if your child suddenly decides that that's not their name or that's not their date of birth or whatever. It's so awkward. Do you have any stories like that, like traveling with kids, or just any weird traveling stories where you got stopped for something completely ridiculous and you were panicking? That first time when I didn't have her birth certificate and stuff with me, the person that I was talking to, like the immigration person, asked me if I had any photos. So I was like, oh yeah, millions. Pulled out my phone and I'm like, this is when I gave birth to her. Like, this is the day she was born. And they're like, no, photographs of her birth certificate. Oh. Traveling is a whole nightmare. Don't ever travel with me. If you ever have the opportunity to travel with me, don't. Take a separate flight, take a separate boat, whatever, because it's always an event. Plus I hate flying, like I mentioned, so panic attacks, sweating, crying, it's a whole shenanigans. Don't avoid it. I will just meet you on the other side. Okay, so I pleasantly surprised myself with this next one because I thought I had more than I actually do. That is foreign currency. You go somewhere, you exchange your money, you come back, you still have a few coins, maybe a note or two, and you think, I'll use those the next time I travel to that country, but you won't. You won't. You'll just leave it there. You'll completely forget about it. I can pretty much guarantee that if you have ever exchanged currency, then you still have some of it lying around your house somewhere. That was one of the best things about being in Europe when they changed to the euro, because then anytime we travel to England or anything, now obviously with Brexit and that has changed since, but at the time when you were going to England or you were going to France or whatever from Ireland, you didn't have to exchange money. Oh, the good old days, the glory days. But yeah, we moved to the States, obviously we had to exchange all our money, but generally now when I go home, I try to only use my card. I try not to amass coins and notes and stuff. But like I said, you probably have a pile somewhere. Just go ahead and bring it into the bank, get it changed, or just donate it. Or if you insist that you will definitely use it on your next trip, then go ahead right now and put it with your passport, your travel documents. Go ahead and put it in a suitcase or something so that you definitely cannot forget it. Funny little foreign currency story for you, seeing as I seem to be in a storytelling mood, but years ago when Sam and I were in like the very early stages of our relationship, we were sitting in France. We went to France on holiday and we were at a cafe, and at the table next to us there was an American couple and they were going to pay for their coffees, but the cafe would not accept their credit card because it was American. It was one of the American ones anyway. The cafe didn't accept it. The waiter was like not having it. So the couple were like, we only have this card or we have American dollars. So like nothing was being accepted. So this went on for a while. There was a back and forth. Anyway, eventually I like reached over and I just put some euros, like some cash on the table. It was not a big deal. Like they only had 2 coffees, were very inexpensive. I was like, here you go. Like, don't worry about it. They were very grateful and that was lovely. So it all got sorted out. But as they were leaving, the guy handed me $10, like his $10 bill. I was like, listen, there is no need. It's totally fine. It cost me like €4 or something to pay for their coffees. But the guy was like, no, I really want you to have it. So that was one of those like really lovely kind of like random act of kindness moments in my life. Probably the first one that I really remember that kind of stuck with me, and I still have that $10 bill to this day. I never ever spent it, even though I now live in the States, and even though like I could easily spend it, no, I have kept it and I will keep it forever, because it was just a lovely little memory and a reminder to me that like it doesn't cost much and it doesn't even have to cost anything to be kind, and people really do appreciate it. Anyway, that was kind of like a little bit of a tangent, but that is my story that is related to foreign currency. But yeah, get rid of yours. You don't need it. Now we all know that one of the worst parts of traveling is the packing and unpacking, particularly having to do all the laundry when you get back, because you're exhausted. Like, it's the last thing you want to do is like rejoin reality by having to wash and fold and put away a whole pile of clothes. That's why this category exists. It's going to make that process easier, and that is to declutter your laundry supplies. Get rid of all of the things that you're not using, all of those spot treatments, the stain treatments that you bought for like one particular job and never used again. Just whittle everything down, streamline the process so that you only have what you need on hand. Make the laundry process as easy and seamless as possible. I am very minimalist with my laundry routine these days. I use like detergent, we have bleach for certain things like white things or some of the dogs things. When I wash those, just want to sanitize them, and that's pretty much it. I have one spot treatment thing that I just keep around. Like we occasionally use it, which is fine, and I think that's pretty much it. I keep it very simple around here because I don't want to be rooting through things trying to figure out what I should be using for this or that or the other. I also like wash everything all in one go. I'm sorry, like if you're not color fast, if you can't handle being washed with other things, then you don't belong in this house. It is every item of clothing for itself in this house. It goes into the wash. If it does not come out in like wearable condition, then you just weren't meant to live in my closet. I need you to be tough. I need you to be able to withstand my laundry routine. Okay, so we've already dealt with beach cover-ups, but now we're going to come back to stuff that you would bring to the beach. I'm talking beach bags, beach towels, all of the toys and stuff. Again, usually things that are inexpensive, you pick them up. So there used to be a time when I used to buy magazines on a fairly regular basis, particularly like fashion magazines. And every summer, invariably, at least one of the magazines came with a free beach bag. I don't know how many of those I collected over the years and eventually decluttered them, because how many times do I go to the beach? Like not that often at all. But same with like kids stuff, like buckets and spades. How often do you go to the beach and just buy a bucket and spade while you're there? Or buy like a pool floaty or something and then not bring it home with you because it's big and bulky and you don't want the hassle of that, so you leave it behind. And then the next time you go to the beach, you repeat the process all over again. But chances are over the years, some of the stuff has smuggled back in your bag, or you have built up that collection of beach towels or beach bags and you realize they're taking up space and you don't need that many. And if we're honest, they're full of sand. Because like if you go to the beach, no matter how much you clean afterwards, no matter how much you scrub, no matter how many times you empty out your bag, there will always be sand in there. Sand is eternal. It's like Christmas trees. You get a real tree and in July you're still finding little needles, pine needles everywhere. So yeah, those bags, those beach towels and stuff, probably full of sand, maybe even a little full of like mildew if they've been lying around. Again, they're like the beach cover-ups. We use them for like maybe 1 month of the year and then they're left sitting there in a darkened corner. So if you can free up some space, go ahead and do that. How many do you really need? Really. I'm not telling you to get rid of all of them, but just the excess. Another thing that's going to make your life easier when you come home from holidays is having your food decluttered. So let's say you're about to go on holidays, make a conscious effort to actually use up the food that will go bad while you're gone. So use it up, natural decluttering, I like to call that, or just get rid of it if it's going to go bad by the time you come back. And then on the flip side, for when you are coming back, make sure that you have a list of things that you will need immediately upon your return. Like there are certain things that you won't need to buy immediately, like pantry staples and stuff that will be fine in your pantry or in your fridge or in your freezer for a while. But for things like maybe milk or fresh fruit, make a list of those now, and then you can either go out immediately when you return home and get those few items, or you could have them ordered so that they are delivered ready and waiting for you, or maybe a helpful friend or a kind neighbor will be able to buy you some essentials and have those dropped off for you. But no one wants to come home to a whole pile of moldy, gone off food, or to be scrambling trying to figure out like what you need to throw a meal together or to make yourself a cup of tea. You don't want to be doing that as soon as you get back. You want to make sure that everything in there is decluttered, everything is as reasonably fresh as it can be, and that you have the essentials sorted. So use up what you can, declutter anything that is not going to be fresh when you get back, and then have some form of system set up whereby you can have the groceries that you need on hand as soon as you get back or very soon thereafter. Now this next one I don't do anymore, but my husband loves doing it, and that is bringing home holiday trinkets, memorabilia. We've all done it. We've all gone somewhere and brought something back, and usually it's like a bottle opener or a postcard or something small like that. And for the most part, we never look at them again. So you just sit somewhere taking up space, collecting dust. Now listen, if it's really sentimental to you and you really do love it and it reminds you of that time in your life, by all means keep it. But like I said, we probably all have those shot glasses and things that we brought back that don't really mean anything to us. Like we have the memories, we have the photographs, we don't need the cheap little trinket. But my husband is incapable of going anywhere without bringing something back. I used to be like that too, until I realized that I never looked at that stuff again. I promise you it is not going to eradicate all of your memories of that special time that you spent. Most of it is just meaningless tat. Now I mentioned that you would always have the photographs of a holiday, but this is the next category to declutter. Photographs. Hear me out on this one. Listen, I grew up in Ireland, okay? It was always overcast, it was always grey, it was always raining. When I went away on holidays and the sun was shining and the sky was blue, I was taking a picture of that blue sky, particularly if there was a plane flying by. We all have those photographs. I don't care who you are. You have at least one photograph of a blue sky. Same then when I went somewhere tropical, like a palm tree. Have to take a picture of this palm tree. How many pictures of palm trees do I have on my phone right now? It's like definitely more than I need. And I don't know how many times I have gone back through old photos and been like, where was that taken? Like, what was that? I have no recollection of it. And it's fine to have photographs that, you know, like act as that memory, like refresher. But if you're looking back at photographs and you can't remember who was in them or why you took them or where it was taken, go ahead and get rid of those ones. Now, a really easy way to do this is to pick a holiday from several years ago, just one that, you know, comes to the top of your mind, and go through those photographs. That way you're not going through like years and years worth of holidays. Just pick one for now, go through the snaps from that special vacation that you took, and get rid of the ones that are blue skies or that just don't mean anything to you anymore. The reason I say to go back a few years is because generally the most recent holiday is the one that is the most special to you. Like, you have a fresh memory of it. It's probably something that is still like close to your heart, whereas the one from years ago, that's when you're going to forget all of those little details. First time I went to France, and this is like before I met Sam, so this is not the foreign currency time, this is like previous to that, but I took pictures of designer shops. Like, I had never seen a designer shop, so like when I was passing by like the Chanel shops and the like Dolce & Gabbana and all that stuff, I was like taking pictures of the, not even the shop front, just the sign. I look back at those photographs now, I'm like, that's just a shop sign. We've all done it. We've all taken a picture because at the time it was a novelty, but now many years later, it is no longer new and exciting to us. So choose your holiday, go through those snaps, and declutter the ones you don't need. I'm going to throw in a little extra bonus one for those of you who have stayed to the end. Well done. Holiday books. You know, all of the books that you bought to read on holiday, maybe you didn't finish it, or maybe you just like threw it back in your suitcase, brought it back with you, and you're never going to read it again. Maybe you bought a magazine at the airport or something. You just go ahead and declutter or donate those now. One thing that I wish I could declutter, like if I could, I would give anything almost to get rid of this, and that is my fear of flying or my fear of water, because it's really like, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse and worse as the years go on, and it used to be the case where I didn't like it, but I would put up with it, and now it's getting to the stage where I actively do not want to go places if I have to fly there. I'm taking medication and stuff, but it's not doing the job. But yeah, if I could get rid of anything travel related, that would be it. Is there something for you? Like, I know we all hate going through the airport and all that hassle and stuff, but is there one specific travel related item or feeling or something that you would happily get rid of? And if you're thinking, oh, I would do anything to make the travel process smoother and easier on myself, I have a video with some travel hacks. Listen, this video is years old, but I rewatched it recently and all bangers. These are great tips that I still use to this day. What can I say? It's a classic. It will never go out of style. Go ahead and watch it if you want a lot less stress on your next trip. And until then, go míle mágah. Agus feici mé sibh sigalua. Slán.